Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be going over why girls don't like you. If you aren't having much success with women and you're feeling a little bit discouraged about it, I think this will be a great place for you to start. All of these things are the most common reasons I see men fail with women, why things don't work out, why they're not having success. So let's get started. Number one, you're clingy, needy, or desperate. Any of these behaviors are going to immediately cause disinterest and they're not going to get you very far. I think these three things often happen in the very beginning of talking to someone, getting to know someone, and automatically cause disinterest or send the girl running. These are huge red flags and things to look out for. And I would tell all of you guys to look out for this in women as well. None of these qualities are good qualities to have, especially when you're entering a romantic relationship. A confident guy with purpose simply does not act clingy or needy or desperate because he knows he'll be just fine regardless of what happens. So I think a lot of people with this kind of mindset have a scarcity mindset instead of an abundance mindset and go in feeling desperate, like they have to get this girl to like them, and it doesn't even matter if they necessarily like the girl, they just have to get the girl to like them. It's a huge fail that I see, and it's just setting you up for disaster. It makes you more anxious, it makes you more stressed. It puts a ton of pressure on you in general, but especially for dates and interacting with women. It makes you awkward and nervous and honestly just stressed out and anxious, which could totally be avoided if you just changed your mindset around it. Are you a stage 5 clinger? Do you blow up her phone when she doesn't text you back right away? Do you have no life outside of this girl and your entire life revolves around her and when she's talking to you? If so, we've got to cut this behavior out and really start to approach things with a better mindset, an abundance mindset, and see the value that you bring. And if you don't feel like you bring any value to a relationship, that's something that you need to work on within your life and within yourself before you're even ready to think about entering into a healthy, flourishing, mature relationship. Because a healthy relationship does not involve clingy, needy, or desperate behavior from either side. And the last point I made about being clingy, needy, and desperate are often symptoms of this next thing I'm going to talk about here, which is point number 2, insecurity. Constantly pointing out your insecurities, needing reassurance all the time, saying things like, "Oh, you're so much better than me. I don't know why you're even talking to me." Stop doing this, guys. It's incredibly unattractive when someone is not confident in themselves, when they don't believe in themselves, and they're constantly reiterating their insecurities and pointing them out to other people. Oftentimes, you'd be surprised to know that unless you point out your insecurities, other people might not even notice them. So by highlighting them, you're only making it so much worse for yourself. And if you aren't confident and sure of yourself, how the heck is anybody else supposed to be? You should be working to create a life for yourself that you're confident and happy, inviting someone to be a part of. And if you're not at that point yet, you might just have some work to do, and that's okay. It's a work in progress. It's something that I've had to work on in the past. There were moments in my life when I was extremely insecure. I had no idea what I was doing, what I wanted to do, and my relationships with people reflected how I felt about myself. And another reason why insecurity is so attractive is because it sets you back before you even get started. What does it cause? It causes being afraid to approach because you're so afraid of rejection that you don't even want to put yourself out there. It causes fear of failure, rejection. Not only that, you might have a fear of failure with everything in your life, and you're scared to even take a risk or take a chance because you're so afraid of that rejection or failure, which is not a good place to be. Again, it all comes from your mindset and the way that you approach things and view things. It can also make you indirect or be a pushover, which might seem like girls like, but I promise you they don't. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're absolutely right. So keep this in mind when you're interacting with women. When you're wondering why you're not having success with women, it could be because you're incredibly insecure and you're wearing it on your sleeve and you're showing it and pointing it out and making it a way bigger deal than it needs to be. Am I saying that you need to be confident 24/7? No, there are days and times when not all of us feel our best. That's very normal. That's very okay. But to be able to keep a positive mindset, keep going, and to not highlight or point out your insecurities all the time is going to be a huge stepping stone for you. So keep this in mind. My next point, number 3, is a negative attitude and playing the victim. Think of a time you had a conversation with someone who was just negative the entire time, constantly talking about problems and complaining or playing the victim, and just how draining that was for you. Did you enjoy that interaction or conversation? Probably not, because it's incredibly unpleasant. So keep this in mind. You don't want to be that person for other people that's constantly complaining with a negative attitude, a negative Nelly. Ugh. People who act like this or play the victim all the time are not enjoyable to be around. Actually, they're quite a drag if I'm being honest with you. It is so lovely to be around people who see the positives in a situation and people who focus on solutions rather than problems or blaming everyone else for their problems. That only works because he's attractive, or he's only with her because he makes a lot of money. Does it matter? Do we need to be the person that is constantly having to put other people down or belittle people to feel better about ourselves? Because if that's the case and that's the only way that you feel good about yourself and what you're doing with your life, you've got some internal work to do, and it has nothing to do with anyone else. Instead of focusing on what everyone else is doing, focus on you. How can you be the best you can be? How can you improve your physique or your financial situation or your job or your happiness or your life in general? What can you do to be better instead of focusing on other people? Because the people who play the victim and hate on other people all the time are a drag to be around, and honestly, women repellent. So again, just to round this one out here, stop blaming other people for your problems or having a negative attitude and take accountability of your life. That's the way to go. Number 4 is one that a lot of you are not going to like, but that is your appearance. Do you put any effort into yourself, or are you lazy and you've completely let yourself go? If you're not having success with women and you're not putting any effort into the way that you look on the inside or the outside, you might have found your answer here. Taking care of yourself is incredibly important. That includes what we put into our body, if we exercise, what's on the inside, but also what is on the outside. I know that might seem a little bit shallow, but again, for initial attraction, for building attraction with women, you want to make sure you're putting some effort into the way that you look. It doesn't mean you have to look like a superstar or have the body of Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever the heck it is. You really just need to be putting in the work, putting in the effort to be the best that you can be. Anything worth doing requires effort, so if you're not putting in that effort, you can't expect to get the results that you want. If you are not doing this, you are doing yourself a huge disservice. And again, whether you like it or not, physical attraction plays a huge role in initial attraction, so it's something that you should be considering. And of course, there are things about our appearance that are a little bit out of our control. However, you should be at least working with what you've got, playing the cards you've been given, and doing the best that you can. Work out, eat healthy, dress well, get your grooming in check, take care of yourself from the inside out. Seriously, guys, start to take care of yourself. I promise you'll notice a difference, not only in the way that people perceive you, in the way that people interact with you, but also in the way you feel about yourself, which is far more important than anything else I've talked about. Looks aren't everything, but they are something, and nobody is ugly, just maybe a little bit lazy. And last on my list, number 5, is that you're being inauthentic. And I know this sounds cliche, and I know you're probably thinking, wow, good last one to end on, Courtney, but it's incredibly important, and that's why I had to include it in this list today. If you're trying too hard, you're bragging, you're trying to get her attention, you're pretending to be someone that you're not, chances are she can probably tell, and even if she can't tell in the beginning, it's going to come out eventually, which maybe is the reason why things aren't working out for you. You're pretending to be something you're not in the beginning, and then eventually your true colors come out, and that person doesn't even like you for the real you, and you're not having success, and you're wondering where you went wrong. Well, it's because you were pretending to be something that you're not. And why would you want someone to like you that doesn't even like the real you anyway? Why would you want to pretend to be someone you're not to impress someone that doesn't even like you? That's so silly. And again, it's kind of all about your mindset around it. Like, stop thinking, I need this girl to like me. Instead, shift that to, this is an opportunity for me to get to know this person and see if I like her. See the difference? Being inauthentic from the beginning is only going to hurt you in the long run, and everything on the list that I talked about today does not include trying to be someone that you're not. It just requires showing up for yourself, being the best you that you can be, and showing that to people. And you don't really have to go out of your way to prove anything or to brag or to be someone that you're not if you're being the most authentic version of yourself. So please keep this in mind when you're going on dates. Again, I don't want you to try to be something you're not. Even for the appearance category, don't wear a suit if you hate suits and you would never wear one in your life or you don't feel comfortable in it. You can dress well and take care of your appearance while still being the most authentic version of yourself and just show up for yourself. It's really not that complicated. Whenever I include things on my list like be authentic or be the best version of yourself, I sometimes get pushback from people saying things like being yourself doesn't work or being myself hasn't worked this far. But maybe that's because you are not putting in effort in other parts of your life that would help you, kind of be what you want to attract. I think that's something that people often neglect. And I know that sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow that maybe, you aren't being what you want to attract. But I think that's what a lot of people need to hear. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat things for you and tell you that you're perfect, because you're not. Are you wonderful? I'm sure you are, but if you're leaving a comment like that, I can already tell that there's a problem with your mindset and your attitude. So before you decide to play the victim and blame the world for your problems, maybe think about that. So again, these are just some main reasons I see why men are not successful with women. Maybe, going forward, these are just some things that you can think about and consider, and make sure that you're showing up as the best version of yourself to be what you want to attract. Alright guys, if you liked this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I do Q&As on my story. That's how to participate in my entry form videos that I do on this channel. So if you would like to participate in future videos or interact with me a little bit more one-on-one, be sure to follow me on Instagram. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.